Boston City Councilwoman Julia Mejia thinks more migrants can be placed outside of Boston.
I think everybody needs to start opening up their doors because this is a shared responsibility.
When Colin and Jessica Stokes called the state to sign up to be a host family, it took less than an hour for the displaced migrants to be dropped off at their door.
I gotta get sheets on the bed. How many people are coming? Where are they from? What ages? We really knew nothing.
A migrant family from Haiti is sharing their experience. They're searching for shelter in the Boston area and then recently found a host home in Brookline.
First, sleeping on the floor at Logan Airport, then in Children's Hospital with their 2-year-old daughter who got very sick.
Me siento mal. Es muy difícil este tiempo.
She felt bad, as any mother would. Now things are looking much brighter as they've been welcomed into Lisa Hillenbrand's Brookline apartment.
Tu niña es muy alegre ahora.
Sí, muy alegre. Cuando se levanta en la mañana, se dice, "Ay, Lisa."
Oh. She says her daughter is very happy. When she wakes up in the morning, she says, "Hi, Lisa," and everyone starts the day smiling.
It's a delight, and it's really fun having them. What I realized is there's so much prejudice against refugees, mostly because people don't know them.
Lisa says she feels like she has her own personal chef, as Wildande loves cooking.
And there it is.
So this new pilot program would be active for about 1 year, and it would help 400 migrant families. So the program would take $8 million from the supplemental budget meant to help those migrant families in emergency shelters.
We are serving people in hotels, and we are working to exit some of the people from hotels to apartments.
8 resettlement agencies would be part of this initiative, and they would help migrants find jobs, navigate a new community, and help them apply to a decade-old state-run program called Homebase.
What the governor wants is to find a permanent solution.
Liliana Patiño with Elliott Community Human Service says Homebase provides moving costs like the first and last month's rent and security deposits for families who qualify for emergency assistance shelter.
This is brand new video of the suspect in that NYPD officer beating. He was just arrested in a separate Macy's robbery case, suspected of being involved in a security guard beatdown. The security guard outside Macy's was punched and kicked. Darwin Gomez was one of those beating suspects a judge initially freed without bail after the beating of 2 NYPD police officers in Times Square earlier this month.
So this letter was from the council, and you got this on the 12th of January. You moved in November, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you got this letter, and just spell out what this letter says.
That letter says that because the property is derelict, that they can compulsory purchase it. If there's any repairs to be done in it, they could take it off the price of the property.
Yeah.
And these properties are for migrants.
It's
what they want these houses for.
Extraordinary, isn't it? And how did you feel when you got a letter? You've moved into your new wonderful home, you settle down, law-abiding citizens, and you get a compulsory purchase order from the council accusing you of occupying a derelict home. How did you feel when you got this?
After paying $200,000 for it, we didn't feel very well.
No, it must have been one hell of a shock, mustn't it?
It was an awful shock. And when I got that, I felt sick. And when we went down to the council the day we got that letter after we read it. And the lady in there, she said, "Don't worry about it, it's just a standard letter."
We have been so hollowed out as a nation. We've turned our backs entirely on the territorial integrity of this country to the point where it's become standard to repossess houses.
But why is this always that it's for the immigrant and not the indigenous population?
Yeah. Well, veterans are sleeping rough.
Yeah.
16,000 veterans.
Terrible weather.
Absolutely.
They can't get put in hotels or on a bibby stock home.
There is a daylight centre charity in Wellingborough, which looks after homeless people who are sleeping rough, and they spend £630 per annum per head. Illegal migrants get paid £50,000. They get spent on them £50,000 per annum per head. And here we have the evidence of it in this letter. They wanted your lovely new home.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Right now, the House is trying for the second time to impeach Biden DHS Secretary
Alejandro Mayorkas on charges of willfully refusing to enforce our border laws. Now, the magic number here is 214 right now. Looks like they just crossed the threshold. We're going to continue to monitor this, but right as of now, they just crossed the threshold. Yes, so that means, yeah, Alejandro Mayorkas has been officially impeached by the House of Representatives.
Last night, the House voted to approve articles of impeachment against Secretary Mayorkas. Desperate times call for desperate measures. We had to do that. He has abdicated his responsibility, he's breached the public trust, and he's disregarded the laws Congress has passed. But much more has to be done, of course, to secure the border, and what the Senate produced this week is silent on that issue. Senator McConnell and I have spoken about this in frank sessions, and let me be clear here again this morning. The Republican-led House will not be jammed or forced into passing a foreign aid bill that was opposed by most Republican senators and does nothing to secure our own border. It's time for Washington to start showing some love to Americans. On Valentine's Day, this is a good day to point this out. You need to listen to the American people and their needs and take action.
Mayor Adams rightfully says that the overwhelming majority of illegal migrants who are in New York City are law-abiding people. They're not involved in trouble. But there is an increasing number of people who are bad actors. Is that just a natural outgrowth of the sheer numbers of people who are coming into this country?
No question. Since Joe Biden took office, nearly 10 million migrants have crossed the southern border, most of them illegally. 90% of them are released into the country within 36 to 48 hours of being detained and processed. And when these asylum cases are finally heard, 2 to 3 years after the fact, 70% of them are rejected. And so you have people who are here. Some of them are not able to work, obviously, while they're going through this process. The New York City shelter system has had a 50% increase. And this is the problem in New York. You have a failed sanctuary city policy. You have the right to shelter court case being interpreted to mean that you have to provide housing to illegal immigrants. And then you have New York's disastrous criminal laws, including the cashless bail law. You saw just last week, you know, migrants, illegal immigrants assaulting police officers, being arrested, being released within hours, and then fleeing New York. I mean, if that doesn't epitomize what a disaster New York has become, I don't know what else does.
E is right here. 51E, but we gotta find space for your bag. Why are you recording other customs?
An unrelenting stream of immigration. Non-stop. Non-stop.